Good morning, students. Welcome to Social Science class. Students, this is the second part of Chapter 8 Natural Resources. In the first part, we already learned about the meaning of resource and the uses of resources. Now we are going to continue with our new topic, that is types of resources. Types of resources. Resources are classified as follows. First is on the basis of ownership. The second one is on the basis of re-availability. Further, it is classified in two categories, that is renewable and non-renewable. Third one is on the basis of distribution centers. So let us start with the first type of resource, that is resources on the basis of ownership. These resources are divided into three categories. The first one is individual resource, which is owned by an individual, that is a single person or a family. Example is land or building. Now the resources which are owned by a single person and he uses to satisfy his own need or his family's need, it can be termed as individual resource. The second one is national resource, that is owned by a country or a region. Its examples are army and international trade. Now, army serves the whole nation, so it is a national resource. Same way, when the international trade takes place, that is import and export, the ports used in international trade or the airports used in international trade are the property or the resource for a nation. The next one is global resource, that is on the world level. All physical or non-physical resource, that is the resources which we can see or we cannot see, which are used for human welfare. Only those resources which are used for human welfare at the world level becomes global resource. Its examples: resource of common ownership of all the nations of the world, means all the nations of the world are able to use these resources, are called global resources. Now examples are air, water, sunlight. These three things are used by every nation of the world. So it is a global resource. Now if you have a look at this table, you will see that ownership is arranged in increasing order. That is, first category was individual resource, that is only single person owns this resource. Then comes national resource, that means on the national level. Then the last one is global resource, that is on the world level. So it is arranged in ascending order. Now let's move to the next classification of the resources, that is resources on the basis of their distribution. Now these resources are divided into four categories. The first one is universal resources. Universal means the resources that are available in whole universe. Its details are useful gases in the atmosphere. That means the gases which are available in the atmosphere. Examples of these gases are oxygen, nitrogen, and many more such gases will be there which are available universally, but their proportion may be different. Second one is generally available resources. That means they are normally available. Details are easily available. It is easily available. Land, soil, water, pasture land, these are the examples of generally available resources. That means mostly every country uses these resources. The third one is rare resources. That means they are found at some places only. Details are those available at limited places. At very few places you will find these resources. Its examples are minerals like coal, petroleum, copper, gold, uranium, etc. Now, these things we don't find everywhere. Coal, petroleum, copper, gold, uranium, these all things are not available everywhere in every country or in every state. They are found at rare places only. The fourth one is solitary resource. That means the single place where it is available. Its details are minerals available only at one or two places in the world, because the name solitary suggests alone. Solitary means alone, that is exclusively at one or two places. Its example is cryolite, which is available only in Greenland. Now, cryolite is a mineral which is available only in Greenland. It is not found anywhere else in the world. So, it is a solitary resource. Now, children, if you observe this table properly, you will find that these resources are arranged in descending order. That is, the first one is universal resources, means found in whole universe. It is kept at top. Under this comes generally available resources. That is, it is found at many places. It is easily available at many places. The third one is rare resources. That is, it is found at very few places. The fourth one is solitary resource, means available at only one or two places in the world or available at a single place in the world. Now, coming to the last type of resource, that is resources on the basis of re-availability. So, children, note it is mentioned in paragraph in textbook on page number 60 below the table of distribution, because no table is given for this classification. You have to read the paragraph mentioned below the table of distribution on page number 60. Let's start. This resource is further classified in two categories, that is renewable and non-renewable resource. So let us understand renewable resources. What are renewable resources? The resources which regenerate, that means they are again available for consumption or reproduce. They renew themselves as per their usage during a specific time. After a specific period of time, they can be used again, are called renewable resources. Or in other words, the resources that are inexhaustible, that are never exhausted, are called renewable resources. Example: solar insolation, wind, birds, animals, or bioresources, etc. Now let's understand the non-renewable resources. The word itself suggests non-renewable. That means that cannot be renewed, that cannot be used again after they are used once. So the definition is the resources which cannot be reused once they are used. So after using them once, we cannot reuse them. They can be used only once, or they cannot be reproduced, they cannot be renewed, or they cannot be reformed in near future. That means those resources which will not be reformed again in the near future, means it takes many years to reform them or to create them, is called a non-renewable resource. Examples are mineral, coal, natural gas, petroleum, etc. These all are non-renewable resources. So children, let's understand about planning and conservation of resources with the help of this picture. Human needs are unlimited while the resources available in the nature are limited. But the human is using it continuously in a reckless way, irrational way. So it will not be left for future generations. During last 100 years, usage of resources has increased very much. due to the development of science and technology and also due to population explosion. Now the population goes on increasing, and to satisfy the needs of population, the resources are being used continuously, and if we go on using these resources in a reckless way, nothing will be left for future generations. So here arises the need of planning. So planning means you should plan for what to use, where to use, how and when to use these resources. So to avoid scarcity, proper management is required. By proper management, we will be able to maintain the development and current lifestyle also. Next is conservation of resources. Now, what does conservation mean? The word conservation means to save or to protect. To save the resources and to protect the resources from being exhausted. Next is to use resources wisely and save it for future generations. So, conservation means we will use the resources which are available in nature in a very wise way, and we will try to save it for future generations so that future generations also use these resources. To use resources in a planned way. Now, here we will make a planning to use the resources which are available and use it judiciously to maintain the balance and to keep it for future generations also. To control the usage or proper management for using resources. Here we will enforce some laws and we will control the usage of resources which are going to exhaust in the near future so that a proper balance is maintained. We require proper management for using these resources. So we can say that conservation means proper management and proper usage of resources to avoid the scarcity in the near future. For this, we will have to take some steps to conserve these resources. So, the next topic is steps to ensure planning and conservation of resources. The first step is survey the resources of a region to understand which resources are utilized, unutilized, and potential resource. That means, first of all, survey the resources. That is, we have to check the total resources available in our environment, surrounding, country, and economy. Means we have to check, हमको देखना है कि कौन से resources हमारे कंट्रोल में हैं और हम जिनका यूज़ कर सकते हैं. Now from these resources, check which resources are utilized, that is, which are being used already by us. Now check which resources are not being used, that are unutilized. These resources जिन्हें हम यूज़ नहीं कर रहे हैं, उसके दो reasons हो सकते हैं. First one is we don't have proper techniques to use that particular resource. Like we have studied earlier for minerals, that minerals were there in ancient time also. Minerals were buried under the land. But man did not knew the technique and he was not aware of the technology, how to use them and how to extract them from the interior of earth. The second reason for not using the resource could be that voluntarily we are not using that particular resource in spite of having the knowledge of the techniques and technology. And potential resource. Potential word means that resources which are capable to satisfy the need but are not being used by us. The second step is classify the resources which are identified. Let's understand in detail. Here, after completing the first step, after doing the survey of the resources, you have to identify them and then classify them in two different categories, that is renewable resource and non-renewable resource. Now coming to non-renewable resource, what steps can be taken? Use only if necessary, means don't use it unnecessarily. Only use when there is a need of using it. Second is reduce wastage. That is, you should not waste the resource like anything. Third one is enact strict laws to conserve. Now, some people are very careless and use these resources which are available in nature in a very careless manner, and they give the excuse that we have just used the resources for our convenience. So, to avoid the wastage of these resources, to avoid the illegal use of these resources, we should enact strict laws to conserve it. That is, enforce some laws so that the people are scared to waste it. The last one is develop alternative. That is, we should develop an alternative for the non-renewable resource, because non-renewable resource cannot be renewed again, cannot be used again once they are exhausted. So we should develop different alternatives to use them. For example, electricity. We are using electricity which is generated from thermal power. So we can shift this need of electricity to solar energy by developing this resource. Also, we should follow the principle of reduce, reuse, and recycle for non renewable resources. Now, let's have a look at renewable resources, the steps for renewable resources. The first one is research and development. So, we should try to promote more and more new techniques to shift our need from non renewable resource to renewable resource. The second point is create public awareness about the use of resource. That means after the research and development has been completed, promote that in public. That means create public awareness, tell public through media, include it in chapters or syllabus of your textbooks. Now, after the information reaches public, it becomes their choice to use that resource. So, the third point is promote through subsidies, incentives, or schemes. That means incentives should be provided to public, like giving discounts, providing incentives, or arranging some schemes, introducing some schemes that attracts public to use that particular resource. For example, a product of rupees 100 can be sold at rupees 80. 20 rupees will be considered as subsidy. That is, the discount of 20 rupees will be considered as subsidy. Here we complete the steps to ensure planning and conservation of resources. That's all for today's session, and I hope everything was clear with the topics explained in this video. So children, we will continue the remaining topics in our next video. Thank you all.